Okay, now let's resume the class, and I guess we need someone. Have we? Yeah, we read. Have we read that already? Oh, yeah, we read that already. Yeah. But then in this paragraph, the Buddha said before the Buddha's awakening. I mean, when he was, that's why we come to the. He said, "Monk, before my awakening, not yet fully awakened, while I was still a bodhisattva." So, and he also said he also admit that he was subject to birth as well, and he was looking for something. So, what was also subject to birth, seeking what is subject to birth, and then also being on the stage that he was subject to aging, and being on the stage that he will be subject to sickness and death and sorrow and defilement. So anyway, then later until basically he knew that. So, and he said, being myself subject to these kind of situations like a birth and so forth, sorrow, knowing the danger in what is subject to birth is very important. It's not that even though he was not awakened, he know he had that problem, but now he know the danger in those problems. So he seek the unborn. So now he saw what was subject to birth. He changed his mind not to seek what is subject to birth, but rather he seek the unborn supreme security. So he was, I mean, a lot of people, like for example, now give one simple example, like people know they will be born again, and still people are looking for what to be born again, right? Born to the heavens, at least they believe that's eternal. Even sometimes people want to born again, come back to earth. Like last time when I talk about, even in this parliament when I teach meditation, the enriching, what we call the enriching divinity. So actually the attendance was quite good. I mean, it was almost last day. And then one of the person asking, the question is about, can we even born back to the earth here? Still people want to come back here. Even if you have a belief that you could be born to the heaven, so-called eternal heaven, they don't even want to. Some people even wanted to be born back to the earth here, for example, like that. But that's what you call the seek the born, seek to the subject to seek to what is also subject to birth, like a place, And they know that when they born to earth here, they will die, they will be born again, right? But here, the Buddha looked differently at the time. So he seek the unborn supreme security from the bondage. Basically seek for unborn, and also looking for, even he's subject to aging, but he's actually knowing the danger in what is aging, and then he's seeking for what is unaging. Okay. Well, there's a process. I mean, he knows there's an aging. He's on this kind of stage, but he knows the danger of the aging. The same thing. They know the danger of the subject to be born, right? And then he's also know the what they call the so he know that the illness as well and so forth. But now then he know the danger, and he seek for the unborn or unaging and so forth. Right. So now here that's the reason why he said, you could say that due to those reasons, even he was young, even when his hair is still not white and still black, against the parents' wishes, right? That's what they say. And then he shaved off his hair and beard, and then put on the yellow robe and went from the home into the homelessness. So this is it's a kind of also a description saying that why that time he made his mind to become a monk. You could just simply say that way. Even though in earlier other sutta mentioned he having those kind of luxury life, though he have a different idea. But later on, he also know how to abandon or how to discuss after his youth, right? Understand the youth, because the youth so proud, I'm still young, I'm this and that. But he doesn't think it that way. So, and the other thing is also understood if the people are noble and unnoble. So if the person is a noble person, should not be thinking that way, but otherwise, right? But nowadays people think noble is a different way. Oh, you must have the name, you are the honor, you have a big title, And those are what the normal people thinking, right? People call you a professor, people call you a big monk, you are the big monk. And those are called a noble thing. I'm sure you know nowadays. Or people think that you are the best doctor. People think that you are the president, right? Or you're the president of the United States. And that's why nowadays we have many problems for those things. Just craving, 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 craving. You don't have a big craving, or you cannot reach the big craving, then you reach to the small craving. And even that's fine, even if you have craving, it's fine in a certain sense. If you are, but still, mentally, you must know the danger of it. Do people know about the danger of it, or whether they understand whether that's unnoble? I mean, this is at least the Buddhist offer. The Buddhism offer you this one of the. I think it's a really valuable perspective for people. So, if people know the danger of it, people know that this is not a noble thing. Maybe still there's no choice, whatever. At least I think it will be better. You know, they still can somehow control themselves. At least not to have excuse by that. At least they know. Okay, this is my minimum I could do. All right, let's go on to L.8 now. After he said that in the sutta, that sutta is Ariya Bhariya Sena Sutta, and then we come back to the Mahasachaka Sutta. Okay, so going forth. Okay, next one, going to read that one. Someone, can you please mute it if you didn't mute the phone, the microphone? Thank you. Yeah.
L8.
This passage is on the start of Gautama's life, on renunciation and spiritual seeking. L.8. 不是 Akivesana.
Before my awakening, not yet fully
Awakened.
awakened, while I was still a bodhisattva, I considered home life is a constriction, a sphere of dust. The life gone forth is an open air life. It is not easy while
living
a home to lead the holy life absolutely perfect and entirely pure and a polished shell. Suppose I shave off my hair and beard, put on the yellow robe and go forth from the home life into homelessness.
Akivesana.
Later, while still young, a black-haired young man, endowed with the blessing of youth in the prime of life, though my mother and father wished otherwise and wept with tearful faces, I shaved off my hair and beard, put on the yellow robe, and went forth from the home life into homelessness.
Okay, all right. No, I think we can discuss a little bit, yeah. Well, in this sutta, it's called the Mahasachaka Sutta, which is recorded in the Majjhima Nikaya number 36. Well, actually, the sutta was basically start from the person called the Sachaka is a name. Well, but if you look at the meaning, Sachaka means somebody who is really into truth, you know. Sometimes I myself, I'm not sure how the other people understand. Sometimes I don't really believe the name, really don't take that really 100% serious. Because I don't think that there was a main purpose of, I mean, unless the name of the famous monk and the main disciples. Otherwise, the name sometimes just to say that, to give the name there, sometimes it could be the real name, sometimes it's not the real name. Just that happened in one day when the Buddha met these kind of persons. And then these persons are having one of the distinguished characteristics. For example, this guy, even though he was not, he was actually originally from a Niganda family, but for example, he was asking the Buddha the question about, so you know, some people arguing that you are having a so-called the higher practice persons, it should be bodily very healthy, something like that. I mean, I like this sutta because a lot of people still think that way. And then, but of course, and some people think that that people actually having a good, so-called a powerful sage, the body is not very healthy. The mental should be very healthy. But he think that, still, when the people body is not very healthy, it means actually he's not a very good kind of priest. In other words, because of Niganda way of understanding also, in order to show that whether you're really a powerful monk or powerful practitioner, or you could say the sage, highly rely on the physical appearance, how you look, how healthy you are, and or basically, and how you relate your mind to the body also. I mean, they are in partly true. That's what the Buddha replied to him, partly true. But that was not really the main case. But anyway, if you have a time, I think this, I haven't read in the next time. I don't know whether that was included, but I think it's really very, very interesting conversation, which answer the question about now, especially Chinese. I don't mean only Chinese, but especially because I'm a Chinese, so somehow I think. So, and they will really think that, your body healthness is the way to indicate whether you're really a good practitioner or not. They should have this kind of very strong idea. That if they are Buddhist, then that's completely wrong. But if they are the other religions, like become the Jainism or other, maybe fine, So, I mean, from a Buddha perspective, it certainly is very clear about that. But anyway, so he has another name, it's called Agi Vesana. But if you look at the word mean, is a kind, Agi is actually mean fire. Somebody who really based on the fire, kind of like somebody who attended to the fire, right? So that's why sometimes I find the name itself, I suspect whether really...
is it the fire meditation they do in...
Yeah, they do fire meditation generally in Jainism, because it's clear from Jainism say that he's the son of the Niganda. I mean, the son of the belong to that kind of religious people. Anyway, so here in this going forth here, this Agi Vesana, so that's why he told Agi Vesana when he was trying to depart his message about how he understood this perspective. Is about the importance of this kind of... Actually, the Buddha later on stressed the importance of the mind, So saying that when he was not fully attended, so he understand the home life is a kind of crowded, and it's a kind of a dust. It's full of... It's kind of like a very busy, hustle bustle kind of life. And then you have a lot of obligation, right? Obligation to relative, obligation to children, obligation to parents, obligation to many things. And then also even to friends, right, and so forth. So, and then there's another kind of life, the life called the comfort, which is, have an open air life. So to his understanding, but I'm sure that this also answered the question. He wanted to tell them that's the reason why he left. Otherwise, if he doesn't think that way, he didn't need to leave the place. He could just practice, you could say, his understanding, his practice in his home life, right? And which luxury and powerful life he had. So anyway, so then here it say that it's, so that's why he shaved his beard and left the place. Even during the time when he was young, he did that. You see, even when the parents or mothers and people are not really completely agree with his decision, but he still do that way. Because he understood when the people are still thinking about the home life, or you are having that, you still have a lot of responsibility. I would say it that way. So, but certainly it's lucky that in India at that time the society will allow you when you're really not having those burdens. But a lot of people still do not understand the differences between the two. I mean, let's say people nowadays, as a monk even sometimes not understand the two. I don't mean you ask you to do it in this extreme way, but at least you must still know having a home life, or having a wife and husband, having a so-called a boyfriend and girlfriend, so having your parents all the time to think that. It not ask you to totally put over the duty, but how's your mind? What you are thinking? You always have those worry and duties there. It's very hard for you to think about what really is the spirituality is mean to you. I know very well, even though I don't have those things, but sometimes I still, have the boundage to the family, boundage to this and that, to friends and that. But it's good. But I mean, if you own that, if you always take that as your prime, then you lost your purpose. That's why we have argument, jealousy, hatred. All these things comes because of those kind of problem too. But I guess the Buddha said it very clearly. In other words, some people even they disagree with that. Now you look at the other people, they can practice with this and that. But it's fine. We depend on what degree you're talking about. But I'm sure that when the Buddha make the decision at the time, he must know that what is the best reason for that. But if he just want the powerful kind of a missionary, because in India it's also acceptable that you can have a missionary work to go on within having a family life. But definitely, like a Brahmin, and definitely it's no problem with that. But the Buddha, why then he still emphasis on this, the homeless life, I get we need to think about this. When we are study this Buddhist text here, I think it's even this actually he mentioned few times, and this is also another sutta he mentioned about that. So that is still he understand that, somehow you get distracted easily, if you have those kind of life. But when I think I would put it in a modern term, is sometimes everybody I think is the same. Sometimes we still get distracted. It's still also the same reason too. I can admit to you, even I myself, if I have that, it's always the same reason. Even though I don't marry, I don't have partners, I don't have this and that, but still, I know that when I get distracted, when I come back to know that now I lost my mind again, my mindfulness is gone, it's always the same reason. Whether they agree or not, I don't know, but this is, you can check it, see whether it is true. Okay, now let's go back to that. If you have any comments online, any question? Very quiet. Okay.
Yeah, one thing about home life is we have to face a lot of people and a lot of responsibility, not only human relationship, but also we need to have a job, support ourselves.
Yeah.
And that already took a half of our time.
Yeah.
And then as we maintain our house lay person's life, it is almost impossible to fulfill the virtues like completely.
Well, at least ideally, even how hard you want to try, you still have a lot of limitation.
For example,
but when being a monk and nuns, generally, yes, if you want to follow, you still can follow better. It doesn't mean that
you
there's still.
fulfill completely, but
Yeah, definitely,
less
definitely.
For example, if we have a house and there are spiders,
Yeah.
what do? You got to clear out the spiders.
Yeah, in the temple we have spiders as well, but we can ask somebody to clean it.
Yeah. And then we can take it as
No. Actually, that's another story. But I think that's not like this. It's also I've seen how to say a lot of relationship thing, especially. Yeah. So, for example, like if you know that they are the girlfriend and boyfriend, a partners, or they are the marriage people, right? Yeah. Even though they really have a problem in their life, I have seen many. At least I heard many. I don't want to say what, but still, even as a monk, right? You would not ask them to say that. Oh, you best separate. You best do. But actually, this really troubled me in the past. I was thinking, if I knew that their better solution is not to stick together, not to stay together, but still, there's a kind of morality, you don't stay this way. Is that wrong with me, or is that because that's really I was doing according to the Buddha teachings, right? Now, I think this passage answers the question. Yeah, I didn't do it wrong, I think, at least. Still, people can correct me. But I didn't do it wrong unless there was abuse about there. Otherwise, I didn't do it wrong because this is how the household life is about. This is how the household life then you will bound to be if you are married to a wrong person. Not wrong. Even in the wrong period of time, it's nothing wrong at the whole. But you definitely have to bow to be suffer from this kind of thing. The nagging wife or the what kind of husband, all this has happened, right? I'm sure that when he married, even though so many concubines that Buddha in those days have, a beautiful musician around, He probably experienced those things. The jealousy, their fighting, and all this sort of thing. And he couldn't say that I want a married life without those problems. This is impossible, because that's what a married life is about, part of it. Who can just agree with you or talking to other women nicely, and especially with anyway, so yeah, so they still want to protect their marriage, right? And they don't want that the husband can, I mean, it's a different thing.
I think the interesting part
Yeah.
is that in L.7 and L.8,
Mm.
the last paragraph is almost a repetition of the.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And in here it says that the mother and father were crying a lot.
Yeah.
A lot. Actually, in actuality, when he left the palace, he left in the middle of the night. Nobody knows. So
No.
he couldn't have experienced.
Of course, he knew that his father and his what do you call that, the stepmother would cry a lot too. I mean, here it's just you could understand as a literal description saying that, they were really sorry that they left. Not,
Because
Yeah.
I think when we're reading
yes,
the
yeah.
Senshojin, the Arya, the
Arya,
Majjhima
yeah, Arya Pariya Sena
I
Sutta.
think there
Yeah.
were two versions of the sutta. One sutta didn't mention that the father and mother cried.
Arya Pariya Sena did mention
Yeah.
about that.
I think then the other one didn't mention.
Really?
Yeah, the parents crying. Yeah.
Which sutta? Arya Pariya Sena certainly mentioned. Satchika here is
And
mentioned.
the other one is Agama. The equivalent Agama.
Satyana. From Agama did mention
Yeah.
that. I think Agama did mention also. But I'm not sure whether it's a similar sutta, because in Chinese we don't have the complete same Arya Pariya Sena
I know.
Sutta.
They
Yeah.
are not quite the same, but
Yeah.
very similar. And I think one of them didn't mention the crying.
Okay, all right, yeah. Mm. Okay, we are almost time, but I think we still can go for a little bit further.
One more section?
Yeah, one more section, and we at least just read until this page. To my book is page 51, I mean L.9. Okay, preparing for the spiritual striving. Okay, yeah. Who's next? Reading next one.
I shall praise going forth as the one with visions went forth, as he, examining, found delight in going forth, seeing that this home life is a constriction, the sphere of dust, and that going forth is an open air life. He went forth. Having gone forth, he avoided evil deeds with the body. Having abandoned bad conduct in word, he purified his mode of living. The Buddha went to Rajgaha, the one endowed with the excellent marks, went to Giribhaja, walked among the Magadhans for collecting alms. Standing in his palace, Bimbisara saw him. Seeing the one endowed with the mark, he said thus, Sirs, look at this one who is handsome, large, pure. He is endowed with good conduct as he looked ahead, a yoke's length only, with downturned eyes, possessing mindfulness. This one is not as though from a lowly family. Let the royal messengers run out to find where the monk will go. The royal messengers sent out follow behind him, thinking, where will the monk go? Where will his dwelling be?
Can you read a little faster?
Going on a continuous run, with sense door guarded, well restrained, he filled his bowl quickly, being attentive and mindful, having wandered on his alms run. Having gone out of the city, the sage took himself to Mount Pandava, thinking, Here will be my dwelling. Seeing him taking his dwelling, the three messengers sat down. Among them one came back along and informed the king. Great king, that monk is seated on the eastern side of Mount Pandava, like a tiger or bull, like a lion in a mountain cave. Hearing the messenger's word, the ruler went hurrying the state vehicle out to Mount Pandava. That ruler, going by vehicle as far as the vehicle park, descended from the vehicle and went up to him on foot. Reaching him, he sat down. Having sat down, the king then exchanged the customary friendly greetings. Having exchanged greetings, he said this: "You are young and tender, in your first youth. The stripling, having a good complexion and stature, like a ruler of good birth, making beautiful the van of the army, at the head of community of elephants. I shall give you wealth. Enjoy it. Tell me your birth." When asked, "King, straight on in that direction there is a people living on the flank of Himalayas, having wealth and vigor, belonging to one who has a long connection to the coastlands. They are Aditya by claim, Sakya by birth. From that family I went forth, not desiring pleasures of the senses. Having seen the peri in sensual pleasures, having seen going forth as safety, I shall go in order to strive. In that my mind delights."
Okay, actually that's a very beautiful passage. If you especially read the Pali, I would encourage you in the one day we can maybe learn to chant this in Pali, maybe. Yeah, it's really beautiful written in Pali because that's actually come from a Sutta Nipada. It's called Babajja Sutta. So it's a well-composed sutta, being simple. I think it puts several very important material there. Basically, so of course it prays that when the Buddha having this going forth, and then having the vision and going forth, and then he also delighted in going forth. This is very important. I mean, say everybody is the same. Sometimes you're going forth. That means you renounce. You 出家了, you renounce, but you forget what's the wonderfulness there. Desire can carry you. Craving can carry you, right? So that's why he say he prays vision and then examine the going forth. Seeing that home life, basically you could say a comparison between the home, having a home life and having a home lust. And then he avoid the evil deeds with the bodily. Of course, just having gone forth is not enough, right? So he tried to avoid the bodily bad, avoid the bodily action, avoid the evil verbal action, not to telling lie, right? Not to slandering, try to win other people's favor, and then try to get a lot of evil, action with your words, and all sort of thing, and try to purify his mode of living, what we call the right conduct in the Buddhism. And at the time he went to the Rajagaha, we must understand Rajagaha is not belong to the land that Buddha was born. Okay, because he did say that later on that he actually come from the land was ruled by the Kosala, and that country. So actually, the Buddha land in his homeland, you maybe don't understand he's a Raja, as a king, but the Chinese way of king understanding them from the Indian is different. Raja, you could say he's a small king in the town, but the big king is actually Kosala, because his country actually basically is still a very weak, small, but still being the Kosala as a big country was still ruling them, like that. That's a reason why sometimes they translate as a region. I don't think it's not just a region. It's kind of like he's a king, but still.
King of the greater kingdom, and basically.
Yeah, because the system is different from now. In those days, he's still a king, but But still there's a big king there. He know that all the time they can, when the big king comes, if they really come in, they need to respect him also and need to really listen to him. So anyway, Rajagaha is the capital of the Magadha. So then the thing it is, the Bimbisara is the king of the Rajagaha, right? The Magadha. So and the Rajagaha. So Bimbisara saw him, and Jesus say that he saw him, so he want to say, look at this person. And this is also show that how the Buddha looks like also. He's handsome, young, and tall, large, and pure, mean he's white. So white, actually skin is, complexion is more like the yellowish white. We know that. It's not dark color anyway. So I mean, this is not a very good word to say nowadays. But generally this. So and then also he have a conduct. He have a good conduct. So his eyes down, turn eyes. This is the way we usually train. Even though now in America it changed a little bit, but still sometimes we need to down turn eye, because if you look in the front too much, you get distracted by many things, and you rather keep your mind, calm. So possess a mindfulness. So it said very clearly, this one is not as thought from a law family also, and then so that's why he follow him, and then he asked him who they are, so who the Buddha is, and go in there, he go round and round for the almsgiving. When he go for the almsgiving, actually he closes his sense door guarded, he have his sense door guarded, so well restrained, and then he always been attentive and mindful. This is some of the very important words there, attentive and mindful. So, but later on, then when he sit one side, then he go from, actually he was leaving from the place, going around the place called Giribhaja. Okay, Giribhaja, I think it's just 我们讲的那个 that Chinese generally believe that in Rajagaha, if you haven't been there, I've been there twice actually. So if you go Giribhaja, mean that's what they believe. 我们叫鸠居山什么林什么灵鹫山, that's what it means, the Giribhaja. So, but however, he went to other places. A mountain is called a Bandava. I mean, this is I'm not sure unless you ask. Because geographical, I don't know, but I know the Bandava is very important if you learn Indian history. Because Bandava is believed to the hero, where the hero hid in the mountain, if you read the Mahabharata. So, and then that's where the Bandava believed to be a warrior and a hero, and also a very justice kind of person living. Anyway, he sit in that side, east side of the Bandava, Mount Bandava. So at that time, and then the king actually approached him. He did use the words saying that he reaching him, right? Reaching him. I understand the reaching mean actually he touched his feet, mean by that. And he sat down. After he touched his feet to show his honor, and then he sat down. That's why I asked the question, where you look like that, your behavior is such a goodness, I don't mind that I will give you the money, and to kind of like, just come to join me. Indirectly mean that, When he said give you money, it means you come to join me. You must be a wise person. Why don't you give him a life and come to join me? Of course, then you have this passage is quite long. It did say something later, but here up to this passage here, just to show that. So, and he said that. Then he asked, but still they want to know the background, who you are. And those say the background is very important. Same as like when you want to employ somebody, you ask his educational background. So in old day, your education mainly come from your parents, right? Your ancestor. If you are the merchant, then you will be your merchant. Your ancestors are merchant, then you are the merchant, right? Mm-hmm. If you're a royal family, mean you're much liable to have more education, so and so forth. So anyway, that's why he asked the background. Later he told him that. That's why he pointed to the place. That's where he came from. So in a way to show that actually that's what he come from. All right. This is when we say that he come from that area. It's not a myth. Even it's mentioned in the sutta, saying that he left the land he come from. And then he also said that they are the caste, you could say the clan of Aditya. Aditya actually means sun. Okay, you just like Japan, sun.
Clan of the sun.
The clan of the sun. So, but they by birth as a Sakya, like that. So you could say they come from the clan of the sun. Okay, and then the birth as a Sakya. So then he went forth because of not desiring pleasure of the senses. Yeah. Now, when you read this not desiring of the senses, now you have more understanding. It's supposed to be, because in earlier time he did mention what does it mean by that. What does it mean by, even though not necessarily you know in detail, but you know at least quite enough information you know already what does it mean by not desiring pleasure of senses, right? Otherwise, if you just read this, what does it mean by that? So now you know, basically call to that not desiring for the 5 core or 5 core sense or 5 strands of sensual pleasures, right? So, and then also having seen the peril in the sensual pleasure, it's not like he never seen the peril in sensual pleasure. He did see that. Having seen, you must understand this passage is not after when he become a Buddha. He hasn't become a Buddha yet. Okay, so having seen the peril in essential pleasure, having seen going forth as safety, I shall go in order to strive. In that my mind delight. In other words, he refused that the king or Bimbisara offer him a good job, but he think that actually he's seen that because the peril in essential pleasure and seen the going forth as a safety place. Yeah. All right, we almost time. Unless you have questions, otherwise we should wrap up now. So.
Can I ask
yes.
The suta's name is Papaja?
Papaja.
What does that mean?
Chuja, renunciation.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Papaja means renunciation. The verse 405 to 424. Yeah. Okay.
Another one I wanted to ask is, in this book they always refer the sutta by the PTS system, Pali Text Society system.
Do they? I'm not sure. Maybe yes. I couldn't tell you because it didn't mention the page number.
Yeah, it's a Pali text.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Book 1, book 2, book 3.
Okay, right. Yeah.
Is there any way to find out the correspondent? I mean, there must be a systematic listing of the corresponding PTS.
I think this is only recently I found that Burmese. Usually nowadays people use a Burmese version because of Jata Sangayana. I think recently, I don't know where did I see that.
Corresponding. So
yeah, I'm sorry, I don't know that. But still, as an academic, we use that is because now we highly rely on the Burmese because they make that as a digital. And then the Burmese did make something there a little bit with that.
They also have the latest, what is
I
it?
don't know where is it.
The Burmese made the latest.
Yeah, but but the thing it is, you don't understand. That's what the Burmese way of saying that because they have that's what we call Chatta Sangayana. I mean the sixth Sangayana, because they did that actually the earlier 19th century, 20th century earlier, 19 something. So, but the thing it is, we still use the PTS. I mean, even now, if I quote anything, but we only change a little bit nowadays, loosely, but if you write a PhD thesis, definitely no. You still use a PTS version. Because they have the addition. When they did the version, they did addition. They did tell you what the Burmese say, what the Thai version say, and what the Sri Lankan version say. Usually when you do research, you have to base on that. Yeah, you don't just base on because that version, one version. At least they do the comparative version. That become a tradition already. Yeah. But what you had said, actually, I think I maybe keep it somewhere. Only recently I found that they at least telling you a little bit about the Burmese version together, how you can find a match, similar match. Otherwise, I also have this problem. I always look at those versions, I get headache.
Yeah,
because now I also use Burmese version a lot. And
if I go to the internet to check it out, usually it's the Burmese version. So the PTS version is hardly
they don't
available.
want to. They don't want to. Not available because if they put it like otherwise the PTS Pali Text Society will have no funding, right? That's all about the funding problem too. Actually, to be honest, they do have digital version in some way, but anyway, I just keep it so far like that. They couldn't just put it in the public. Yeah. Okay. Right. Thank you for your coming. So we do the transfer marriage. We will just finish this discussion. I think I like to just, we're supposed to have 15 minutes to discuss what it is, but since today is a little bit like we don't have many people present here, it looks like online people are not talking at all. So at least I tried the last few times. So why don't we just left the next discussion, including this one, for the next time. So for a little wrap up of all what we discussed. Okay. All right. We do the transfer merit. We will end for the today. And thank you for online. We do transfer merit. And thanks for coming. Yeah.
Sapitiyo vivacantu sapaloko vinasatu mate
Bhavantarayo sukide kayo go bhavatu sabba mangalang rakantu sabba devada sabba buddhanu bhav sabba yoti bhavantu de bhavatu sabba mangalang rakantu sabba devada sabba dhammadu bhavena sabba sanganu bhavena sata soti Bhavantu te sadhu, 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 sadhu. Thank you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you for coming.